חברים וחברות, זאת אורלי מ-972 Education, והיום אני רוצה להראות לכם משהו מגניב שככה נחשפתי אליו תוך כדי עבודה. אני אשתף את המסך שלי ואני אראה לכם שיצרתי איזשהו ספרון מקסים לשבוע הראשון בבית הספר, ללומדי השפה, ללומדים Novice שכבר יודעים לכתוב או לצייר או לא, שיכולים לעשות את זה עם ההורים שלהם בבית. אז כל מה שקשור לשבוע הראשון, הכיתה שלי, החברים שלי, דבר חדש שלמדתי וכו' וכו', תתעלמו מהדף 7 ו-9 שאין לי מושג למה הם יצאו לי ככה לבנים, וזהו. ובסוף הנה הסוף, אני גאה בעצמי או אני גאה בעצמי, מסיימים את השבוע עם הצלחות והצלחה אחת ומטרה אחת. ויש כאן, שתלתי כאן כל מיני משימות דיבור. בעודי מסתכלת על ה-PDF הזה, אני רואה את הכפתור החדש הזה, שהופיע לי כך פתאום, באת לי פתאום, ומה שאפשר לעשות זה ליצור על טופס, על קובץ ה-PDF הזה, אפשר ליצור audio overview, מין פודקאסטון קטן כזה, הסקטון קצרצר על מה קורה פה ב-PDF הזה. אני חייבת לומר שכרגע אפשר רק ליצור באנגלית את התקציר הזה. אז למשל אני יכולה עכשיו, תוך כדי שאנחנו מסתכלים על החוברת הזאת, להשמיע לכם את ההקלטה.
Welcome everyone. So to kick off our exploration into the source material today, I want you to imagine being airdropped into a massive, bustling foreign city.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that sounds incredibly stressful.
Right. I mean, you don't know the streets, you don't know the customs, and you definitely don't speak the language. The sheer sensory overload is just, well, it's paralyzing.
Exactly. I mean, the immediate biological instinct in that scenario is to just freeze up. Your brain is expending like so much energy just trying to survive the environment that higher level processing basically shuts down entirely.
Yeah, and that exact feeling of overwhelm is what, millions of kids face on their very first week at a new school, especially when they're learning a new language.
Oh, definitely.
But what if you had a literal map to, navigate that chaos? Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're looking at this really fascinating blueprint for conquering overwhelm.
Yeah, and it's such an interesting document.
It really is. On the surface, it's just a simple 10-page educational document. It's a Hebrew workbook titled My First Week at School Memory Booklet, and it was created by Orly Travis of 972 Education.
Right, specifically designed for learners of Hebrew as a second language.
Exactly. But underneath that, it reveals this masterclass in how any of us can tackle a terrifying new experience.
Yeah, the pedagogical design here is, well, it's incredibly deliberate. It doesn't just throw vocabulary at the learner, It systematically guides them through a psychological progression. It starts with their physical environment, moves to their social interactions, and then finally pushes them toward deep emotional reflection.
Which is wild for a beginner workbook. So the booklet tackles the most immediate source of panic first, right? The physical space.
Yep, pages 1 through 3.
Right, so before it even asks the student to speak or interact, page 1 is just establishing identity, like I draw, write, and tell in Hebrew. And then pages 2 and 3 just ask them to observe their surroundings.
The vocabulary is entirely concrete.
Totally. School, class, yard, library, board, table, chair, computer. The prompts are literal. They just ask the learner to draw their school and finish simple sentences like, the name of my school is, or I sit next to you.
Yeah, which is brilliant.
It reminds me of moving to a new country as an adult. Like, before you can debate philosophy or, make deep friendships with the locals, you just need to know where the grocery store is.
Right, and where you're going to sleep.
Exactly. You have to establish physical safety first.
What's fascinating here is the cognitive psychology at play in that choice. By pairing very simple, concrete words with physical space, the cognitive load on the student is just drastically reduced.
Oh, that makes sense.
Right, because they aren't overwhelmed by abstract grammar rules or like really complex sentence structures on day one. They're simply labeling their immediate visible reality.
So you look at the desk, you label it, and suddenly you have this tiny anchor of safety.
Exactly. And once that baseline is established, your eyes naturally look up to see who else is in the room with you.
Which necessitates a massive shift, right?
Yeah.
Moving into section 2 of the booklet, pages 4 and 5, and then 7 and 8. The lens moves outward.
Yeah, it shifts from objects to people.
Yeah.
It introduces the teacher and the classmates.
And the vocabulary changes too. It goes from concrete nouns to descriptive words like interesting, helpful, nice, funny, patient.
And then it moves into action, specifically during recess. It starts asking for verbs, describing speaking, playing, eating, resting. It asks for prompts like, at recess I, or I was with.
It even includes speaking tasks, right? Like telling a friend about one person in the class. But I have to be honest, I struggle to see how a beginner can handle this on week 1.
How do you mean?
Well, asking someone to describe why they loved a game on page 7, or to state who they want to get to know on page 5, isn't that demanding way too much vulnerability and complex vocabulary when they barely know the alphabet?
Sounds like a lot, yeah.
Right, like, are we sure this isn't just confusing them more?
Well, it would be, if they were expected to write a full essay. But notice how the workbook uses drawing as a safety net here.
Oh, right, like the prompt to draw a moment from the game?
Exactly. Asking them to draw it, the child processes the complex social dynamic visually first. They bypass the language barrier entirely to express the concept.
Oh, wow.
And then they only have to attach 1 or 2 simple Hebrew sentence starters that are already provided in the book. Like, in the game you need to.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, language really thrives on social utility. You aren't learning verbs to pass a spelling test.
Right, you're learning them so you aren't sitting alone at lunch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The workbook cleverly gives the learner the exact tools they need to make a friend. It turns the unpredictability of people into something they can actually navigate. It turns language from a textbook exercise into a tool for social survival.
So once you've secured that physical space and you've navigated the social dynamics, the progression moves to the absolute hardest part of learning anything new.
Looking inward.
Right, looking inward to process how all of this actually feels. So the final pages 6, 9, and 10, focus entirely on the internal experience.
Yeah, the metacognition piece.
Which is fascinating. Page 6 asks for a new thing I learned, like a word or how to do something. And then page 9 is just a full-on emotional check-in. It asks if they felt happy, okay, a bit hard, or excited.
It asks what was easy and what was hard too.
Yeah, and page 10 ends with this big declaration, I am proud of myself because, and asks them to name a person who helped them and set a goal for the next week. So what does this all mean? Like, to me, this mimics an adult corporate performance review, or, that classic rose, bud, thorn reflection exercise. But it's just so much more emotionally honest.
It really is.
I'm genuinely stuck on why an emotional checklist is sitting in the middle of a beginner language workbook. Why focus on thinking about how they learn when a student is just trying to survive the week?
Well, it's because acknowledging difficulty, like putting a bit hard right next to excited on the page, it normalizes the struggle of learning. It removes the shame of feeling overwhelmed. And by asking the student to identify the person who helped me, or the word I remember most, it forces metacognition.
So they have to think about how they actually acquired the information.
Exactly. It creates an emotionally safe environment, which is illogically necessary for memory retention. Like we talked about earlier, if your brain is stuck in stress mode, you won't remember the vocabulary.
But if you feel safe and reflective, the knowledge actually sticks.
Exactly.
So bringing this all together for everyone listening, when you look at this elegant progression of Orly Lavi Travis's booklet, starting with a simple, here is my desk, building to here is my friend, and culminating in here is my goal for next week, it's obvious this isn't just about kids learning Hebrew.
No, not at all.
If you're prepping for a massive presentation, or, learning a completely new technical skill at work, or diving into any complex field, this is your blueprint for conquering overwhelm.
Yeah, ground yourself in the basics first.
Connect with the community around you, and regularly reflect on your emotional journey and your small wins.
It leaves me with this one thought to kind of mull over. What if, instead of diving headfirst into the deep end of every intimidating new project we face as adults, we forced ourselves to fill out a metaphorical first week booklet.
Oh, I love that.
Right, like how much faster would we actually master complex skills if we gave ourselves permission to start by simply pointing at a table, learning its name, and admitting that the process feels, a bit hard.
It's so true. Next time you're airdropped into a foreign city or just a chaotic new environment at work, maybe you don't need to speak the whole language on day one. Maybe you just need to find your desk.
ממש פודקאסט משגע שנותן לכם ככה מעטפת רחבה כדי להבין כמה חשוב להתחיל בצעדים קטנים עם הלומדים שלנו, לומדי השפה השנייה. וזהו, אני כמובן אשמח מאוד לשתף איתכם את הספרון הזה, שתהיה שנה מוצלחת, שנה טובה, וניפגש בהדרכות הבאות, בפודקאסט, בשפה על הספה, בקבוצות שלי, בקהילה 972 Educators, בפייסבוק, ובמפגשים המקצועיים שלנו שהולכים ומתהווים ככה לאט לאט. להתראות, שנה טובה ומוצלחת.